everybody, and welcome to the As You Are podcast. My name is Leslie Vandergenst. I'm the founder of Enso Coaching and Consulting, and I'm here with Kathleen.
Hello.
One of our amazing coaches, and we are here with the two founders of Connected Family Partners, Jasmin and Bri.
Hi.
And so we're super excited to talk to them a little bit because they're doing something very interesting in the family space. And, we're kind of connected in this, coaching world. But we were really excited to sit down and get to know you guys a little bit more and to let our listeners hear a little bit more about you guys from a business standpoint and from a care model standpoint, which we think is really fascinating. So we're excited to have this conversation with you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so you guys came together and kind of made a decision. Hey, we want to start this. We want to start this organization. Tell us a little bit about the backstory, the history there.
Go for it.
Okay, so Jasmin and I were working at an independent school together, and I was the director of learning services. Jasmin was the school counselor. And so much of our work overlapped in that space, right? My background is in special education, and Jasmin was obviously providing that mental health support, and so much of our work overlapped. And we aren't really sure who said it first. But at some point, both of us had the idea kind of in the same window of time, like, what would it mean to go out and do this on our own? There was a lot of our work was providing referrals to families to get support outside of the school setting. And we knew that there was a need. And we knew that there was a need for specifically what we do, which is both the mental health support for kids directly, but also the parent support. And that the mental health background that Jasmin has and the kind of special education background that I have are really, really good complements to each other. And so that's kind of how the idea for Connected Family Partners was born.
Yeah, I think we realized that we were working with the same families at this independent school. And when we were trying to provide support outside of the school environment, we just noticed that there was a greater need, right? And not as many organizations that were providing the in-house support for the parent coaching, the child therapy, the mental health space. I would say even the education advocacy and consulting piece, right? And so we wanted to provide a space where families could get all of that in one place so that their child and their family as a whole, the adults, are really well known and they're getting the support that they need specifically for their family, right? That it's very much tailored to them and not just okay, well, you're getting services here for that and over here for that, and trying to piece everything together, but that their families really being cared for and supported in one place with people who are constantly in communication with each other about them.
Yeah. Well, can you talk a little bit about, the services that you provide and kind of what that looks like as, a family comes in and says, we're having some challenges at home or we need some support, some additional support. What does that look like?
Yeah. So I work directly with the kiddos. I provide child therapy, and Bri does the parent coaching side of that. And so sometimes we have families who are only interested in child therapy, and that's great, right? We're meeting them where they are. Sometimes they only want the parent coaching piece. But what we really love is when a family comes in and really understands the importance of getting both the parent support and the child support.
Yeah, especially really all children, but especially our younger population of kids, right? Parents are the ones who are implementing the strategies that Jasmin might be working on with the child. And so usually some element of parent coaching is really what is needed to kind of make the progress that families come to us hoping to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we think about it similarly to, when we go into an organization, we're working with teams, right? You have everybody on the leadership team is getting coaching except for the CEO.
Yeah, well, probably need that one to do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably a similar situation.
It's the whole system, right?
Yeah.
For it to fully function properly or to feel successful and good, everyone needs to be invested, I think.
Well, can you guys talk a little bit more? Obviously, you guys were kind of doing it inside of a school system. What were some of the gaps that you guys saw in the school system that you were like, okay, we definitely need this with whatever we're doing and the reason why or the purpose behind it?
I think that the name of our business, Connected, right? Like there are so many skilled folks in this field doing this work. And some of them are more ready and willing to partner and connect with professionals and kind of all the people that are working in a child's life. But one of the things that we really noticed is that in a school setting, you're so used to collaborate. That's just like everyone is on the team, right? And there's no hesitation in pulling someone in who's working with the child to get their perspective. And so we were really used to, that child has an occupational therapist. Well, let's get on the phone with them and learn from them. Or they're in speech therapy, let's learn from them. And so I think for us, that was the piece that we feel so passionately about. And if you work with us, we say up front, we're going to ask for release of information so that we can connect with your child's teacher, their pediatrician, potentially anyone that is meeting the needs of your child, because their expertise and perspective on that child is so valuable to our work and ultimately meeting the family's goals.
And I think like part of that too, right, is they have that expertise and we don't necessarily want to reinvent the wheel. Like if the OT has already shared some strategies or some tools that are effective, great, let's stick with those. Let's build on that instead of like starting over or then introduce strategies or tools that might be in conflict with each other, right? Like if there is something that's already kind of working, let's build off of that instead of like being against each other. Because ultimately it's about the kiddo and their family.
100%.
And I think one more need that we feel really passionately about meeting that, we can only serve the families that came to the school that we worked in, right? And now we can serve a much wider range of families. And that is work that we're both really committed to and really motivates us. And we're kind of constantly thinking about, okay, how do we reach more families or how do we connect with a broader range of folks who might not traditionally have access to this type of support?
Love that.
What has that approach been like?
Yeah, it's multi-pronged. Some of it is just like having a sliding scale, right? Like there is just a financial barrier, right? And so some of it is just about removing that barrier. Some of it is the kind of community education piece and like offering a free webinar or some sort of piece of education that a lot of people can access and hopefully walk away with something useful.
Yeah, I would agree. I think like working within the community as much as we can, trying to make partnerships and build connections with like schools so that we do have access to more families is something that we're really passionate about and something that we enjoy. It gives our day a balance, right? Like working directly with clients, but then also having an opportunity to connect with other individuals in a group setting is fun. It keeps us fresh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're always fascinated on the business, and like how kind of obviously the inception of the business, but then also like what did it look like as you guys were kind of starting to build this thing and said, okay, like we need a website. We got to go get some clients. We got to, because I think that's a challenge with any small business is, and we face it all the time too, is just, we have to be business-minded strategists as much as we need to be experts in the field that we're supporting, right?
Yeah. So you won't be surprised to hear that when you get your master's in education or counseling, they don't tell
teach
you.
Marketing, you got to do marketing, website, finance. Yeah, exactly.
Not a whole lot of math.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What's your P&L look like? All those things. I know. Thanks, guys. That would have been much more valuable than like, knowing cosine and tangent and all those things that we've never used ever. But that's another story.
I'm proud to say that I am now using those skills that I was like, I've never used this, right?
I mean, what I've learned is that Hasmin is a mathematician.
That's very generous and kind.
She is. It's really cool.
I love it.
So yes, I don't know what the question was. We had to figure all of that out. Yeah. And it was a lot of just asking for help and like really getting comfortable, like writing an email or picking up the phone and being like, I know a lawyer. Let's get that help. Yeah. And you know what is amazing is that people really do want to and I think people feel good about having a skill set they can offer. And And that was just really exciting from the start, was just the number of people who, when we said, okay, we want to go do this thing, they said, how can I help? And kind of access to their time and expertise. And we spent a lot of months asking questions.
Yeah. Well, what's been one of the things that you guys, as you've kind of started to build the business on the business side, because obviously you guys are experts in the other, in the other piece of it. What are some of the things that you've kind of learned as you've gone to build out this practice?
Vulnerability, right? And I think that continues to be true, is really leaning into that. And I think we ask that of our clients, to be vulnerable and to ask for help, to really be present. And we're doing that in a slightly different way, right? As we learn more about, I don't know, how to file your business taxes, right? Still not sure I understand that one fully, but I think vulnerability has been a really big piece of that. And going back to something that you asked earlier, trying to find the balance of meeting the needs of a community, especially, our passion behind reaching those who maybe do not have the same resources to access this level of support and care for their family, while also struggling to help our business grow and thrive, and to feel successful. That has been a really big struggle, and something that I think we're still learning how to balance. But we're committed to it, and we're excited for new ideas that we've kind of been working on.
Yeah. Well, so do you, how did you guys kind of approach, like, okay, these are the things that we're going to need in order for us to kind of start to build this bad boy out? Like, how did you think of it in the context of like, okay, here's a marketing plan? Or was it more like, okay, let's call like 17 people that we know that are running a practice? Or, was it like, let's go back to the schools? Like, how did you guys kind of think about, going and expanding?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it was literally all of that at the same time.
I love it. I mean, isn't it all? Like, let's just throw darts and see what sticks, right?
It was a lot of like Hasmin and I sitting cross-legged on a floor with our laptops open with like multiple Google Docs, like writing down ideas, and just mostly, honestly, questions. Like, oh yeah, I don't know what the answer is to that. Okay, here's the question. Who can help us? And that was like kind of how it got going. There were some things that from the beginning just made sense. Like the way we're structured is that, Hasmin has clients and I have clients. Sometimes they overlap, but like there were some things that we just really quickly came to, like there wasn't a lot of negotiating around. It was just like, this makes sense. This is kind of logical. We consulted with a few kind of business folks. Austin is rife with them, so that was great.
Exactly.
And got some good advice, and then I think the hardest thing is just not overthinking it.
There was a pat on the shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Thinking like, this is probably good enough for now, and like if we have to revisit this, we will. But just going with our gut a little bit, which when you're new is hard.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite expressions is "Don't let perfect be the enemy of good."
It's something that I'm still learning, and
That's awesome. That's growth, right?
Yeah.
Lucky to have this person on my team who helps to remind me of that when I need it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because I was wondering, like, as it is the two of you, what are the strengths that you rely on for the other?
Yeah.
So we're really different people, like very different.
I don't even think we like knew how different we were when we were working at the independent school. And as we've grown Connected Family Partners, we're like, oh, right. Like, this is your strength. So I'm going to let you handle that.
Nice. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I think like kind of for every challenge we've been up against, there's been one of us who's like, no, I think I probably got this. We're like, no, I don't see it that way. Like, it's good. We're going to go this way, and this is the path forward. And it's been really important. I cannot imagine starting a business by myself. I have so much respect for all the, especially women, doing like just fully solo ventures, because I need that like, panic text person.
Oh my God.
I just said this. What do you think?
Right. Yeah.
Parentheses, there is a right answer. I need validation. So I think having that support has been so huge.
Oh my gosh.
And I think like what has been really, really helpful to us is that we got some really great advice at the very beginning that was like, you have to feel comfortable having very difficult conversations with each other.
Mhm.
And if you can't have those now, then like, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah.
And I think I have held on to that. And really, we've both embraced that. And as difficult as it is, I think, are honest with each other and help to kind of see like, hey, it's okay, or, well, we need to do this a little bit differently.
Mhm.
And I think it's only made us stronger and like closer.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, so talk a little bit about like some of your differences, like how those things kind of show up, as you guys are partnering with each other.
Yeah. I'm much more of an introvert. And so it is hard for me sometimes to like connect in a way that Brie is so good at. And I would say like our marketing genius over here, right? She's brave and strong, and she like puts us through things that I personally would be like, oh gosh, no, we can't do that. That's so scary. And she's like, we've got this, we can do it, and we're going to go forward with it. So that has been amazing, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, and Jasmin is like a solid rock, and is so skilled at what she does, and an excellent communicator. And so I tend to leap before I look, and I think I can do that because Jasmin is so solid.
Mm.
And then often, like, as I'm falling, I'm like, oh my gosh, what have what have I done? And I pulled you in. And it's, I will be the person who will show up at a presentation and be like, I don't have the dongle. And she's like, I have 3. And like get the time wrong on something. And Jasmin has got it. So I feel really supported by her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. I mean, it's a testament to how important it is for us to really like diversify our like skill sets and our behaviors and all of that, right? Because, if we had a lot of leapers and no grounders, then, we'd just be jumping off cliffs all day.
It's
really good and very healthy.
Yeah. And I also think coming from a school background, you all might not be surprised to hear that schools are really hard places to work.
What?
So many hats are worn.
And so we were thrown into so many fires together and had to figure it out. And I think that built a lot of trust.
Yeah.
A lot of trust, like pushed to the edge, right? And shout out to all the educators and school counselors.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
And how can we help?
Right.
Schools are good places to grow resilience. And so I think there are parts of this that are really scary. But honestly, the work we were doing before was really hard. And so I think we grew some resilience muscle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So as you guys have been, kind of growing this business, really kind of stepping into this niche, engaging the community in it, what would you say has been one of the hardest parts of it thus far?
I would say my own mind. Just like the, overused term, but imposter syndrome, right? I was thinking about this on the way here. I went from a school environment where my work was really public and really known and really validated. I was constantly being told, like, good job, keep it up, And this work is much more private and intimate, and I love that about it. And there's only, me and my partner here who can say, like, you're doing
good job.
Good job. Yeah. And I think I've really had to confront that part of me that was really seeking that validation.
100%.
And have to find it, within myself. And it's really hard. It's noisy in my brain a lot of the time. So, it's hard to be new. It's hard to, hang a shingle and say, okay, come find us. And, we believe in the services we offer, and we have to keep talking about ourselves. And that is not something we gained a skill set in.
Yeah. Well, just out of curiosity, because I also want to hear what Jasmin has to say too, but how did you find that? I mean, what was the process for you to kind of move from this place where external validation was kind of a normal thing and that was where you felt grounded, to go now internally to say, okay, well, am I doing a good job for myself, right? What is that? What did that look like? What did that process look like for you?
I'd say it's still unfolding. And part of it is just repetition, right? Like just doing it. And, there have been some milestones that have helped, like clients referring other people was a big one. Like, okay,
what a testament.
This is working. Yes. This is the work we want to do. Or just even we have, we didn't mention this, but when Jasmin and I share clients, so when she works with the child and I work with the parents, we do team meetings every 6 to 8 weeks where it's both Jasmin and myself and the parents. Those are often moments where I'm like, this work is so important and really validating. The other answer is a lot of therapy. A lot of my own work on where did this come from, right? And what am I holding on to that isn't maybe mine?
Yeah, absolutely. What about you? What's been challenging thus far?
I think, going back to one of our passions, which is really reaching out to communities who do not typically have access or the resources for this level of support, that continues to be a challenge, and one that I take really personally because I can identify so much with, growing up in a Latino family where maybe mental health was not quite understood in the same way, where seeking support and help is kind of looked down upon, right? Or we don't do that. And so I think the challenge is twofold there, right? It's kind of providing that education to a community that has really struggled individually and worked really hard to succeed and to meet their children's needs and goals and their own personal needs and goals, and to try to embrace them and say, like, it's okay, we've got you, like, support is good and it's going to be helpful and it's going to feel lighter. And so trying to provide that piece of education while also being able to provide the support that we offer to that community, right? So again, we're still trying to figure it out. It continues to be a hard challenge, but one that we're not giving up on because we're both really passionate about that.
Love that. Well, what have you learned kind of along the way of trying to open your doors to some of these communities?
Yeah. I think this is a complicated response, I think, but really trying to navigate what it means to understand like the insurance world and just kind of like our health system in general, like trying to better understand that system myself so that I can communicate to families, like, these are the questions that we want to ask. Here's how maybe we can advocate for this for your child. And it's a complex system, right? And it's not easy and it doesn't always work out the way that we want it to. And so that has been really hard. And on a lighter note, I think I was just speaking with my family this weekend, really stretching my Spanish skills. I'm a native Spanish speaker, but I don't practice it daily. And I have a client who is Spanish speaking, and sometimes I'm like, what is the word? What is the word? And they're like, you mean this? And I'm like, yes, that's the one. So that has also, as I'm trying to embrace that community and work with them more, struggling with just my own confidence in my Spanish skills, and being reminded, as my dad said last night, don't overthink it, right? Don't get in your head so much. You do speak Spanish. I still speak Spanish with my grandma. It's fine. Just keep do your work and it'll be okay.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah. I mean, confidence building seems to be a theme here, right? So we've heard a couple of repetition is a good way to build that confidence. What other things do you feel like are unlocks for you in building confidence?
Ooh, that's a great question. Bri kind of mentioned this earlier, but I think really leaning on each other has been helpful because she can provide that voice, right? So in therapy, we talk so much about reframing and like automatic negative thoughts. And when my brain goes in that direction, she can model the like positive reframing of something, right? And so that's, we're like providing therapy to each other.
Yeah, that's good. Perfect. Love it.
I think for me, it's also, it's naming the fear and trying to get underneath it and just kind of face it. What is it?
How real is it? Too,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I think like being honest with ourselves about it, right? Like really saying it out loud is, because I think that's the scariest part. Like we might be able to kind of know like this is really what's underneath this big fear, and the strength that it takes to say it out loud and to say it to somebody else is huge. But we're getting there.
Yeah.
Versus the old way, which is just shove it down.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, this is it's such a lesson, and it's very just refreshing, right? That the two of you are very actively working on this first, right? Which is just, I mean, it's just so much of what I think we talk about too from a when you're running a business. Like we gotta make sure this is straight, because we're not going to be serving anybody really well if this isn't at least solid.
Right? Totally.
Yeah.
I also think about relatability for y'all's clients, right? That it's not you coming in and being like, we're so perfect. We know everything. But that if someone is like, am I imposter as a parent? That is like, oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's huge. I think parenting it's insane. Raising kids
Hard.
so hard. And for all the reasons. But that's a separate
No, but it is though. I mean, it forces, I think the thing that I've learned, is just it is a mirror. Like it forces you to look directly at yourself on like what just happened. Like, what was that about with me, not my child?
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's why we really believe in our model, right? That like the parent coaching piece is just as important, because something that we say often is like, yes, your child may be struggling with a really big moment of dysregulation, and that might be doing something for you too in that moment too as the adult in the situation,
100%.
right? Like you are seeing a tiny little human super dysregulated. It's going to maybe make you feel dysregulated too. And that's okay. We're not aiming for perfection here, but like we also have to take care of ourselves and figure out what are the tools, what are the strategies that I need as the adult in that situation to like take a breath and then be present enough to help my child in their big moment.
100%. We talk a lot about, I'm curious how you guys think about it. We talk a lot. So Kathleen is, one of her areas of expertise is mental health and mental awareness coaching, which obviously is different from therapy. And you guys kind of talk about it as therapy and coaching. And so how do you guys kind of differentiate those two things?
Yeah.
It's a great
question.
So with the parent coaching piece, a lot of what I talk to my clients about is that it's very goal directed and kind of moving from the present moment forward. Of course, someone might bring up their past experiences, but what we're working on is really articulating goals, and then I'm asking a lot of questions and guiding parents to meet those goals in their family. Of course, that work is then also supported by what Jasmin is doing potentially if the child is working with her in therapy. The other piece of the work that I do is maybe more like consulting work, where I'm coming and saying, let's try this strategy. Here's a really good strategy that I think will work really well because your child is presenting with this behavior. Let's try it. Let's come back and tell me how it went. Let's refine it. So it's bringing in, research and kind of practical tools.
Love that. It's similar to how that's similar to how we think about it as well, too, right?
It is very much focused on goals. We talk a lot about then what is the reality where you are. And kind of as you were saying, it is very much that what are the steps forward? We don't necessarily dig all into the past, but we turn things into action.
Yeah.
So what do you guys have, from a vision standpoint? Like, where do you want to take this thing? Like, what do you guys see as the future of connected family partners?
I mean, I think we've alluded to this a couple of times, but we really want to provide more opportunities to engage with the broader community. And I think part of that is to really provide this education piece that we've continued to come back to, right? Which is that like the parent piece is just as important as the child piece when we're working with a whole family unit. And then really providing skills, community. We are really passionate about working with families who have some neurodivergence and connecting them. It can feel really, really isolating, and we want to provide space for families to come together and to understand like, oh, I'm not alone in this. My journey may look different from my friends who are very neurotypical, and that's okay. It's also similar to this other family.
100%. Yeah, that is a theme that I think I encounter a lot with people where it's like, I'm so alone. I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And when you hear this from multiple people, that it's like, oh no, I wish you knew that. Like, I've heard this 6 times today.
Yes.
This is incredibly human.
Yeah.
And so having to, I don't know, it's an interesting place of like wanting to affirm that it feels lonely while also wanting to have that discovery that it is not alone.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And we really love the work we're doing right now. We go into schools and run workshops with either parents or faculty to kind of carry this work forward. We've run a support group for neurodivergent parents before, and would love to kind of grow that work and just reach more people.
Yeah.
And we did, I have to say, as you're like naming that, I think also like we did a camp for neurodivergent kiddos this summer, which was so fun and exhausting and like all the conflicting feelings. And to be able to grow that, right? We heard from so many families that their kiddos can't always have a typical summer experience, right? Because their needs might be different, and the professionals in camps may not have the skills or the strategies to support their child who maybe needs slightly different support, right? In those big feeling moments. And it was a blast, and we love to grow that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, we heard from parents whose kids had never made it to the end of a camp day before. And they were with us for 2 weeks,
Oh
and
my gosh.
it was so fun.
That's amazing.
I want to also be like, let's take a look in the mirror as we're saying what builds confidence.
Right.
How does something like that build confidence?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, that was a real highlight. That was like a career highlight, I think, for both of us. It was
absolutely.
amazing.
Love
Yeah.
that.
And it was 2 weeks in Peace Park, totally outside. It was hot and sweaty.
Oh my
and
gosh.
So
The
dirty.
trolls out there, too, right?
It's so beautiful.
It
too.
is.
Yeah.
It's
It
so
was
cute
it
out
was
there.
and kids were talking about their neurodivergence and
No.
learning skills and making friends. People who really struggled to make friends were making friends, and
It was special.
yeah,
I
it was
love
pretty
that.
magical.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, well, so long term, we just heard what your kind of vision is, where you guys want to go. What's like next year? What does this year look like for you guys?
Yeah. I think my answer is we want to keep growing and getting the word out about just our clients, right? Client work, right? That's kind of our bread and butter of our business. So we want to keep serving the families that need this type of support. We have some cool speaking opportunities coming up that we hope to have more of. Yeah, what else, Jasmin?
I think intentionally creating, this is a sneak peek that I'm still I'm like, whew, I'm getting nervous just trying to say this out loud. Offering webinars or parent presentations in Spanish as well.
Wonderful.
That are open to the community. We're brainstorming to figure out what the topic is and how we market that so that it, we are accessing those families. And so, we've got some really fun stuff, I think, in the next year.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
We'll keep us in the loop, so we'll share it to our people too. And
Thank you.
Obviously, I'm a mom, so I've got some kids.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so where can people learn more about Connected Family Partners?
So our website is connectedfamilypartners.com. And then we have an Instagram handle at connectedfamilypartners.
And the Instagram, I think, is fun because we also take kind of themes that we're hearing from friends or clients and then kind of post like tips, strategies that, anybody can access potentially.
Love that.
But yeah, Facebook as well. And
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys. This was fantastic.
Thank you.
Love learning about you guys, and we'll hear more, I'm sure.
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks for creating such a welcoming, safe space.
Oh
my gosh, of course.
Absolutely. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
So great.
It's also, I feel like there's so many similarities where, the title of the podcast, As You Are, but like we really encourage our clients and of course the guests here that it's like however you are, wherever you are, we just want that authenticity.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It's awesome.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
All right.
And thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe to the podcast on all platforms, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.